Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. We'll be discussing the latest transfer gossips out there and the confirmed deals and what we make of it. I have Adil with me. First of all, Adil, Jack Grealish, 100 million to Man City. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but I think like I said on a previous show, for me personally, I don't think Grealish for Grealish's own style, the way he plays, I don't think City is a good fit. Obviously, he's a good fit for any ball playing team, but in terms of we won't see the Grealish that we enjoy now. We see the guy who plays fearless, who runs at people, who Pep's system is such that everyone has to shine within a system. It's not, you're not going to see that freestyle flair that we're used to seeing from Greece. So in that sense, yeah.
Would you say this is more
you're gonna miss out?
Would you say this is more like a replacement for Sane? Because obviously they didn't really replace him. They got Ferran Torres in, but they used him kind of bit and bob everywhere.
I think it's more. I mean, if you think about it, most people say clear cut Kevin De Bruyne is the best player in the Premiership. And in Pep's tried a few times playing him in the false nine. I think if you get Grealish, suddenly that becomes an option. Maybe he's going to think some of the games it can be Grealish, and then you keep the work ethic and the productivity of De Bruyne in his favorite position. That's why I think, because otherwise I can't see why I still go for him, because unless they're planning to sell Sterling, most of Foden's games last season was on the left.
Yeah.
Then you got Sterling there still on the left. Now, if you're gonna get Grealish and you're planning to play him on the left, then that's three key England players on the same. So I'm not sure that Pep's signing him to play him as a wing. I mean, obviously there'll be games where he could play him there, but if they don't get Kane, I think they're more than happy to go with potentially Grealish playing the false nine role.
This was my question to you, Adi, was going to be that are they looking at that as the second option because of being put off by Tottenham's price tag of 160 million for Kane?
I don't know. I mean, we'll never know, because obviously the rumors were they have clearly spoken to both players and they kind of have won over both players. So we don't know if the plan was both or Grealish was the backup if they couldn't get Kane. They obviously did start negotiations for Kane first. So maybe Grealish is the backup if the Kane negotiations don't go well. I'm not sure. I mean, they're both good players, and it's not like Grealish ain't gonna fit City's system. Of course he would. Any technical player would. It's more we're not gonna see the style, playmaking style of Grealish that we see. You look at Pep's system. Players do have freedom in their position only, but that's it. It's only when they stay in there. But if you look at Mahrez, it's only given that license when out wide. Other than that, it's very much a tiki-taka, passing and position-specific system. So yeah, that's all it is. But still a scary thought. I mean, I could see, De Bruyne behind Grealish. That could be really dangerous.
I mean,
I hope they're not signing him as a left-sided player, because then that's going to disturb the progress of Foden. That's going to, and Sterling, we've seen his hit form in the summer again. He's back to the old Sterling. So, yeah, that's three England players, sharing one position. So,
but
I think they might be signing him.
Do you think they're gonna get rid of some of the players? Maybe that's what they're looking to do. Like maybe, I don't know. There was rumors that apparently they want to sell Bernardo Silva and Sterling as one of the other ones.
I think clearly they're willing to trade players or sell certain players to get. But I think that was more to get Harry Kane in. So clearly they really wanted Harry Kane, but you know, we don't know. I mean, Tottenham's always been difficult to negotiate with, so I think Grealish is the one looks like they're moving ahead with. Maybe they might come back in for Kane,
And
but it's a scary thought for the rest of the league, and into it that they're strengthening with such a good. And the thing I was thinking was already when Man City take the lead, they're a really frustrating team to watch because once they take the lead, they kind of play that shut up shop football and play the time, keep the possession, don't attack as much necessarily unless the opposition over attacks, and they when it comes to tactical fouls and tactical kind of wasting time and dropping. So can you imagine the most fouled player in the league for the last 2 seasons now going to City on top of everyone else who once they go 1-0 up, you touch them, they fall in on the floor and take really smart play in slowing the game down. But they end up. Can you imagine if they took Kane and Grealish, probably the 2 most foul players? Best, Kane's definitely the best at winning fouls.
Best at drawing the foul in, isn't it?
Sorry.
What I was saying is they're really good at drawing that foul in, isn't it? Especially like Kane. The way he engages the defender and just as soon as he feels the touch, is over.
Yeah. So I think that's another thing that a stat that maybe not anyone's thinking about, but clearly, if that happened,
I know a lot of Liverpool fans that are upset by these rumors. So
I don't know. I think everyone has to be. I mean. Kane is proven, and Grealish is like Foden. I mean, the next star. I mean, everything about Grealish, the way he taken to international football. In the last 2 seasons, the way he's played in the Prem, he's a superstar. I mean, he's definitely should be in title challenging team. So, from a player perspective, it's a no-brainer going to City. City, they're going to be always challenging for trophies, especially with the manager and the investment. So it's gonna be really tough.
Do you know the other thing comes to mind is, do you reckon if they can't get Kane over, would that be a problem for them going forward? Because obviously they've lost Aguero, they've only got Jesus as a real recognized striker. Who's not very clinical up there. So could that be a potential problem for them going forward? I know they can play that false 9 system and it worked, but we saw it in the big games like against the Chelsea FA Cup semi-final or the Champions League final.
Well, what we can definitely say is when it comes to the league, it works. Because they won the league without a striker effectively.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think they're worried. I mean, look, you could have Aguero and they've lost semi-finals and finals with Aguero as well. So let's not completely go over the top with this argument about the false 9. I just think Grealish is a better player than what they have. So other than De Bruyne, technically, I mean, he's going to be one of the best players they got, and he's going to improve being in that environment. So even if they get Harry Kane, then the problem solved. A striker and a player to play the false 9, naturally that's his style. But he's got really good intelligence in reading space that he'll still get into goal scoring positions.
Yeah.
With Grealish, you might not get that, but they never had that this season, and they were fine. So I think in terms of the league, once they get their scoring boots on, they'll be fine. maybe in the big games against more tactical away teams that don't follow in the nine, because teams will start figuring it out how to play against it. It's not like City didn't lose games last season, and it's not like they dominated every game they played. There were games they struggled with, especially at the starts of the games they scraped 1-0. We saw in the games against Chelsea, when it was 0-0, a lot of the time Chelsea were the better team. Obviously, once they went ahead, they kind of sat back a bit more and City took over. So, it could be a problem. It's what you would say is it definitely would be a weakness in their squad not having that option of a recognized striker. So that's why it's all going to come down to whether they go for Kane as well. But I got a feeling they may be willing to wait next year for him now. And if they get Greelish, they'll keep Jesus and they'll think they can do a job.
And whilst we're on City, it's just come to my head. Another area that they would probably look to strengthen is a left back, because that's again. I mean, yes, Zinchenko's good, but
yeah, I mean,
Cancelo plays there, but he's not really an out and out left back.
Yeah, I mean, they've been rumored for going for who's it, Nuno
Mendes.
Nuno Mendes. So if they get Nuno Mendes, I mean, that would be that would take the game. He's a quality player. Apparently that's the other one they're going for. So City's recruitment is really good. They know what they want. They're getting real good, talented players. That fit their system.
Yeah.
So it's not going to get easier for anyone.
No, but definitely not.
But you can see also teams aren't going to make it easier for City either. They're not. That I don't think City has that invincibility that they used to have. I think last season a lot of people, got confident in actually playing football against them, challenging them. So it's, I don't know if that's because of COVID, things were different. It might be different with a normal schedule. City might be able to press a bit more, aggressively the way they used to. I don't know. With the extra time in between games, it's going to be interesting.
It is.
Scary thought.
It is a scary thought, but let's look at the nearest challenger. I would say probably will be Liverpool. I mean, Van Dijk and Joe Gomez is back. Great to see them back in the pitch, especially Van Dijk. I mean, signing only Canute, it seems like they're only focusing on really selling the players that they have, in terms of like they got rid of Harry Wilson. I think who else was it? Grujic, they got rid of him. They're looking to sell Shaqiri and Origi. So, I mean, is that their main focus, to get rid of those players and then obviously maybe towards the end of the window get someone in to replace Wijnaldum?
It's a completely different approach, but a completely different approach to City, because City just are efficient in everything they do.
Yeah.
Even when they sell players, they sell players in an efficient way. It's like always the deals are done early. But I don't know. This idea that Liverpool, can't sign a player until they get rid of players, it's a strange one. It doesn't make sense, because it's not like they don't have money. I mean, every club in the Premier League has money. It's not like they can't make things work. So I just think, they're so busy trying to get value for money in the market that they're doing it this way. Yeah. But if you're challenging for titles, you just do what you need to do. It doesn't matter about trying to get value for money that much, or I just don't see it as, such a, that's the right way to go about it. But that's their predicament. I think they're a bit different from all the other Premiership clubs, because if you look at there's always this, like they say, 50% rule, where most clubs' wage bills, they try and stick to between around 50% of their revenue.
Yeah.
And I know with Liverpool, it's always around 85%. So looking at teams that have got a real high rate between the percentage between the turnover and their wage bill, seems like those are the clubs that are really financially struggling. And we can see with Barcelona, Real Madrid, even though they're making moves, all the moves they're making is to try and bring the wage bill down.
Yeah.
So maybe Liverpool, because of the pandemic, are suffering a bit more because their model is slightly different from other clubs, where so much of their money goes towards paying the high wages that they do, because it's not like they got the, that's where the bigger stadiums of that Arsenal and now Tottenham.
I mean, they extended they extended their stadium, the capacity within it, and it's not even that. If you look at it, they were the champion last year, yeah. So surely they would have got good money for that. Just simply just winning the Premier League, forget everything else afterwards. The year before that, they won the Champions League. So it's not like they haven't got that financial clout there. It's just it feels like they're not willing to use it. That's what it seems like.
I think that
they're penny
Michael Edwards. I mean, that's why that's the direction they're going in, that money ball type of direction. So they obviously want value or good value for every player they sell, and they want to buy players for good values. It's a very statistic driven team, the way they work. So it's bad news for Liverpool and Liverpool fans, because at the end of the day, you got a manager who can has shown that if you support him, give him the best players, he will challenge Pep, and even he will punch above his weight.
Yeah,
he can punch above without spending as much as everyone else. I think I saw the other day. I think Man United have spent 400 mil in the last 4 years, and I can't remember. I think it was net spend. Liverpool 131 mil. Even Tottenham have spent more than them. So it's crazy stats, and to think, Klopp has won Champions League and a title with that against formidable City team. You just think it's a shame for Liverpool fans that they got a world-class manager. And unfortunately, they just don't have the support. He doesn't have the support. I mean, even the way they played with Gini Wijnaldum, I mean, what club gets rid of a player who's that influential, that important, loves the club over wages, over being, stingy with wages and playing hardball with, his contract. Is, he's a player. He showed enough loyalty, enough work ethic, enough, to deserve to kind of go into late into his career at Liverpool. It's not like he would have, and then now you're hearing rumors they're doing the same stuff with Henderson. So I don't know. It's a bit strange but sometimes it's hard to adjust to changing your mindset as a club looking to challenge and make the gap, to then once you've made it, changing your mindset into that ruthlessness of paying big and accepting that comes with the territory of being the number one team. And everyone knows that when you're the champ, they add another 10 mil to everything. It's just how it is.
I mean, from a neutral point of view, I just think they should just, even if it's 50 million to add one more class player to your team, a team which is already pretty much, it's already a winning formula. If you add something to it, it's only gonna just give that extra boost. Not just as a player coming in, just as an overall lift to the whole fans and even the players that are already there. And that's where I think Liverpool will just completely miss out. I know they got.
It's obvious,
but I think that's going to cause issue down the line.
They look light in midfield. They, It's not like Henderson's.
They got too many injury-prone midfielders,
the
isn't it?
style Liverpool play, I mean, they're gonna pick up injuries. So I just think.
Well, they got rid of the one guy who rarely gets injured, which is Wijnaldum. If you look at Henderson, if you look at who they have, Keita, Oxlade, Thiago, they're all injury prone.
Yeah, Fabinho.
Yeah.
So I think they definitely need one other midfielder to replace Gini Wijnaldum. I don't think it's clear from last season, Origi, Shaqiri, they weren't rated enough by Klopp. He didn't really trust them much. Even when they were struggling, he didn't get them in.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a big deal. The fact that they're moving on from those players, and they got young blood coming in to take over. In terms of Harvey Elliott, you can see Harvey Elliott's going to take Shaqiri's role in the squad.
But
I'm sure Jones will still have a big part to play.
I was going to say, do you reckon his plan is to kind of mold Jones into that Wijnaldum role? Is that why maybe they're not that forced into the market, if that makes sense? Still there, Adil?
He's always going to be the.
Sorry, you broke up at this, so I didn't hear the previous part.
But yeah, I don't think that's he's there. They're planning to replace him with. They know Jones is a more attacking player. He plays the more attacking role. I don't think in any way they think that he's the right replacement for Wijnaldum. He'll always be the advanced one. And I don't know. I mean, one thing I would say is they're very good with their scouting. I mean, if I watched their last preseason game, and one of the earlier ones, and Konate looks an absolute beast. I mean,
he is good.
He looks like another Van Dijk. I mean, within seconds he's got his arm across and he's just chucking you off the ball. He's just physical. Really confident on the ball, likes to come out with it, likes to spread the player. He seems like another Van Dijk.
Do you know what else he has that I think misses in that backline? Obviously, Van Dijk is fast, but I think Konate is really quick.
Yeah, clearly he's got immense pace. So I just think, like Konate, having Van Dijk back is going to be good, but then they have actually improved on the second centre back because Konate is he's a big upgrade on Joe Gomez and Matip for me. So I think they have strength. I mean, there is some strengthening. Van Dijk coming back. Obviously, they played their first game. I can't remember a few minutes.
I think they came
on Gomez both played.
Yeah, 65th minute or something like that.
Yeah, so some 20-odd minutes, so 25 minutes. So yeah, I mean, that's going to lift them. That's going to be huge. So maybe, I don't know. But they do need a midfielder, I think.
2 weeks away. I mean, Van Dijk and Konate starting for Liverpool. Could be happening, I think they will start with Joe Gomez.
I'm not sure if both are going to be ready for the start. I mean, that seems like if they've just played their first games, 25 minutes now. But the thing is that they still have a heavy schedule in those 2 weeks. So possibly it can happen because I think they've got 3 or 4 games left. So they've had a real packed out
preseason.
And maybe they planned it like that specifically because they really wanted to make sure the foundation and the base fitness of Gomez and Van Dijk was solid before they did. But yeah, I have a feeling, they're going to go in the season with Gomez as more the backup centre back, backup right back, and Konate is going to be the number one.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I have a feeling they're going to go the season with.
Which is not too bad. In certain games, Gomez playing as that right back could really help them because obviously defensively on that side, Trent usually gets caught out. So I think which is a fair call. In terms of
they still could have done with it's not just midfield. They could have done with getting a striker. Still, I still think
definitely.
You got to have Firmino, then and at strikers. You
But
know,
it works, you know.
and you saw it last season. If Mane doesn't fire, Salah can't do it all on his own. So they haven't really addressed some of the problems from last season. They've addressed the centre back issue, and that's it.
Oh, let's see what the future holds. I mean, that's another conversation to have, anyways, in terms of predictions, and we can go into that because we can talk for all day. In terms of the other teams, I was going to talk about is Leicester, because obviously they seem to be doing everything the right way and really challenging the other teams in terms of like they're building. Completely gone out of my head now.
Yes. Oh yeah, they're expanding their stadium,
Expanding the stadium,
a hotel, a car park, multi-story.
That's what
complex.
It's.
They
really want to get in there, don't they? Like into the top 6 or top 4, the so-called top 4.
Yeah, I mean they're doing what like a lot of the like Tottenham and all these other clubs are doing, where they're not solely becoming reliant on match day income. What it is, they're trying to create income during the whole week by having a shopping complex, by having a hotel, a top of the range hotel and car park facilities. What that does is that generates income during the whole week and not solely heavily reliant on match day income, which is huge. So I think, these plans, again, I think they're increasing it by 8,000 or something to 40,000 the stadium, which, again, it just shows you how ambitious these clubs are. Everton have started on their stadium now. Villa have spent like 100 million on their new training complex where they're bringing everything together and it's meant to be top of the range, So these clubs, I mean, no one's settling for the status quo of the top 6. You can tell the clubs below them are really hell-bent on joining that club and really
it's been expanding since like the last couple of years. It went from top 4 to top 6. Then last year people were saying top 8. I mean, soon we're gonna say top 10, 12.
Yeah, I think it's gonna end up because while Leeds have Bielsa, they're gonna continue to keep improving. They're gonna continue to do smart signings that fit their system. So they'll continue to improve because they've got a special manager and a special, atmosphere in the club. Villa, their owners are billionaires. They're serious players. They're doing things like Everton, like Leicester. They're doing things the right way, so they're going to continue to build. West Ham, they showed they've got the stadium, they've got the potential. So it will end up being a top 10, a top 12. It's going to be hard. That's why it's the most exciting league. I mean, no one is giving up on the dream.
Couple of interesting ones. I mean, you got the signing of Ben White come through, finally finalized now to Arsenal.
Yeah, Ben White, Varane, they're both finally confirmed.
Varane is done. Who else is there? That's it, really. The others are pretty much done, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're good signings. It's been a bit slow in terms of transfers.
Do you think
teams are leaving it a bit late? The other one was Brian Gill.
Oh yeah, Brian Gill, yes, to Tottenham. Sorry, Tottenham, yes. But do you think teams are kind of like leaving it till the end because of obviously the money issues, etc., just to make those clubs selling just to lower their value? Because that's what it seems like. It's because like people not willing to pay that money.
I think what it is it's how it's normally is with the Premiership, which is clubs in Europe want big money for their players and then want to sign, the Premier League teams' players for dirt cheap. I mean, it's been like that the last few years, and that's because the other leagues have that envy of the money that Premier League has. And even if you see the way this summer's going, you could see why. I mean, Obviously those clubs that have a real high wage bill against a percentage of their wage bill going their turnover going to wage bill, you could tell they're probably struggling a bit after the coronavirus. But that is the whole of Europe. The whole of Europe is,
I mean,
other than PSG, those clubs that like funded by state.
yeah,
But the Premiership has still got some money. You still got, know it's still paying money. They're selling players, but you got people, the odd teams, they're still spending. You got Crystal Palace spending money, 20 mil for Anderson, another great signing.
Anderson,
Yeah. So you can still see that some of those Prem teams are spending money. Arsenal spending 50 mil. So that type of money that ain't around in Europe. So I think it needs a couple of those big transfers to go through. Obviously, it doesn't help that Real Madrid and Barcelona are struggling financially, and they're looking to do deals and trades and not necessarily spend money, because they all know one big transfer kind of makes the whole market move around a bit, and it's not that type of even Bayern Munich ain't really going for anyone. So I just think it's teams are being more smarter, and Premier League teams are being more conservative in how much they're willing to pay for players, because they know it's a knockdown market. And clubs are still trying to get big money.
You can use that Xhaka deal as a well. He hasn't. It's not. I don't think it's going to go through now. Roma were penny pinching for Xhaka. I mean, Arsenal wanted 20 million euros. Roma only offering like 17 and not willing to go up. I mean, 3 million in the grand scheme of things is nothing. If you look at, but this is how they are.
Yeah, and it's not like they have billionaire owners as well, Roma. So it's not like they can't stop up the cash. I just think the Premiership clubs are just being a bit more wiser in making sure they're getting value, because they're still willing to pay the money, and you can see that in the way they've spent it. So I think they're just being a bit more, a bit less desperate to get rid of players for any money, and they just, because they know these clubs are the clubs that don't have money. So
do you think this is why Chelsea are kind of evaluating a lot about Haaland and not just going and blowing out the water and just getting him?
I don't think Chelsea are evaluating. I think Chelsea are willing to spend ridiculous money for Haaland and ridiculous money for Lukaku. They don't fall under any of these, because they've got a billionaire owner who's always shown he's willing to spend the money. So I don't think they have any of those concerns. It's more they're taking the risk in the target of player they're going for. They're going for such high-end players, finished article players, and they're not looking anything beyond that. It's like, they've got a wish list of two, Haaland or Lukaku. Haaland first and Lukaku. And they're both at clubs where they don't really want to leave this season. They're both, both the clubs don't really want to lose those players this season. So I think Chelsea are running the risk of maybe setting the bar too high, because it's not like Lukaku and Haaland are the only strikers in the world. I mean, they're really good. Best. They're really good, but if you can't get him, I mean, if Chelsea get even a striker slightly below that level, I don't know if there is one. I don't know, but
there's reports apparently they want Lewandowski.
Yeah, but I can't see Lewandowski going at 32.
Yeah, exactly. So
that maybe, I don't know. I can't see, because Bayern aren't looking to spend money.
Yeah.
So I can't see how Bayern Munich allowing that to happen. So maybe they're setting their bar too high. It looks like, all right, you could say the list is full. They went for Kane, realized that's not going to happen. They got Haaland, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. Lukaku, he doesn't really want to leave. Do
you think they're just going to wait?
That ain't really an option.
Do you think they're just going to wait out for Haaland or Lukaku for next year? Is that what's going to happen, and just try their luck with one?
It seems like they're going to still push for those players. Yeah. I still think that's a high risk strategy, because if you go into a season with Tammy Abraham as your striker, you're not going to win the title. You might win the cup still because they've proven that last season.
Well,
But
they want to
I
get
think
rid
if
of
they get a
Tammy
striker,
they want to get rid of Tammy for 40 million. So
yeah. But I think if they get a
too much.
proven goal scorer, you will straight away put them up there alongside City and Liverpool as genuine title contenders.
Well, I do another smart piece of business they're doing. I think we both spoke about before the video. Kunde swap deal with Kurt Zuma and a bit more money on top.
Yeah, however they do it, you know, it's an upgrade on Zuma either way. So yeah, it's an upgrade of Zuma. So that'd be just a good signing if they do pull it off. I think at the moment Sevilla want ridiculous amount. I mean, 65 million for Kunde doesn't add up. That's just silly. So yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Some of these clubs are just so desperate for big money from Premiership clubs. They're quoting ridiculous money. I think they think there's a stamp duty on transfers, and they can use like the house prices are ridiculous in the UK. I think they think they think the same thing on transfers. Yeah, so yeah, Chelsea are definitely running a risk of maybe. I like the profile of players they're going for. They're going for the right level, but because they don't have even a good backup, it's not. It wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world for them to take a punt on a backup one, like I don't know, like a
no, but then I did. No. I did. Then my question is, why not just try with Warner again this year? Yeah, all right, I get it. It didn't work last year, but
look, Warner only when he did play well, he was playing more like a 10 than a striker. You know, they're playing Havertz up top, which he can do, and he looks like he's the most accomplished at doing that. But you know, I think Havertz still struggles if he has to play 2 times a week, 3 times a week. You know, he really struggles physically. So I still think he needs another season to really feel like get stronger. When he's fresh, when he has a whole week off, we've seen he's performed really good. So I think they need to get another striker in and still go for the big one. But sell Tammy Abraham, get another backup striker. You know, maybe not on the list of Lewandowski and Haaland.
Maybe not elite, but good. Good,
but good enough. Better, something better than Abraham's. You get it? Maybe even a hard worker like I don't know Oli Watkins or something. You could see who has potential, who at least do have the intensity in the press that Tuchel wants. Will bring other players into the game. Will be hard work for the defenders. Something like that would even be better than running the risk of going into the season not getting your big target. I think that they're playing a forgive the pun, Russian roulette. They're taking a risk. They really are taking a risk.
If they pull it off, I mean, could you imagine?
Yeah, I mean that's the plus side. That's the plus side of it. If they do get Haaland or Lukaku, but I would straight away put them up there alongside Liverpool and Man City. I mean Liverpool, I don't know. I'm not quite putting them up there yet because I still think they need to sign a player. I think they will. They're just trying to sell players and make money first.
Even Chelsea's outgoing has been really good in terms of like recouping a lot of money, and they're not loaning out as much. They're getting rid of them and getting good money in, like, because Mark Gui and all of them, it's for decent value.
Yeah, I mean it's a change in policy. That's the biggest thing. It's a change in policy. They are actually selling a lot of the youngsters from the under 18s, under 23s that normally they traditionally love sending out on loan. Adam Bates and all these other players, and not only are they're selling them for not so much money, for decent money, but they put in these big sell-on clauses because those players have a lot of potential. Yeah. So they're breaking from and I think it might be because it's just getting too big, the amount of players they loan out. Obviously, I know that's something UEFA, FIFA looking into, clubs who are holding players and just constantly loaning them out. So maybe that's had an effect. But yeah, they're selling a lot of their.
I'll tell you what, The sell-on
promises,
option is really smart though, because obviously if these players really do fulfill their potential, and if they got 20-25% in there, they're getting a lot of money. Because most clubs don't look to do that, but it's so important, and you get so much money for it. Most of the
yeah.
lower like championship clubs do it, but I think it needs to be more utilized for young players like this. Say for instance, if Arsenal selling Joe Willock, even if you sell it for cheap, put something in there as an example.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's too established to try and do something like that too. But
You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely. But I think, yeah, I mean, Chelsea are like, since we've said it before, since Granit Sky has taken over, as they're like City. They're just operating a smooth way. They go for their targets. They get their players in. They sell their players. They loan them out.
Done.
They're very professional. They're very efficient. You
And
know,
then you get the rest jokers.
well, everyone else is playing catch up to that level of.
Well, I mean,
of
Leicester, I would say Leicester are very, very neat about their business. So,
yeah, Leicester, but obviously it's still a different scale, isn't it?
yeah, of course.
They're not still. Leicester aren't dealing in the superstar market. They're dealing in the promising, talent, the unearthed gem, which is a different market. I mean, but when you're that efficient and you're in the superstar market, you got a real good system. You got a real good relationship with agents. People are messing you about. you know, so everyone definitely when it comes to recruitment, they're ahead of everyone. And I think you can see, United's getting better at it. Clearly, Arsenal look like they've made improvement this summer at it, but they're not going for superstar players, so can't fully judge that. I think it's different it's a different negotiation when you're going for big players and big signings and big wages. That's totally different to the Ben White and where if you're getting him from Brighton, whatever you offer is going to be more than what Brighton has. So it's not much of it's not as difficult. It's just the transfer fee is always the difficult bit. So I think, clearly United are starting to get their house in order in the way they do their transfer business. And that's how it needs to be. I mean, City and Chelsea are showing how it needs to be done.
Leading by examples on and off the pitch. On that note, Adil, thank you for joining. For those of you watching, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for coming on. Thank you for watching.